The Hebrew text in the Bible has hidden formats. By revealing these formats, I will prove the first writer's words were hidden from you. These formats look like poetry as I group them into small paragraphs. Their grouping will become known as a psalm, and together they become psalms. Let me show you our Creator's 12 commandments, listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Any father of a family or his wife who did not obey any one of these 12 commandments, our Creator demanded they bring him a sin offering. Thus, our Creator defined the word sin as not obeying any one of these 12 commandments. Next, I want to show you how I changed one word in Exodus 26, verse 26, the word bars to arches, and the words now reveal the style of the roof for our Creator's tent for meeting with Him. Let me show you the translator's words from the preface of the 1611 King James Bible. They gave 4 reasons for themselves or others to edit the Bible's words. The red arrow at the top points to their 3rd reason to edit the text. By the light and feeling we attained unto ourselves. The next red arrow down points to them giving the title, the Divine, to a clerk named Gregory. The next block of words, they point out they were happy that the first emperor of Rome established the year to the course of the sun. Behind this text means Nebuchadnezzar ordered his kingdom to follow our Creator's calendar when he stopped eating grass. Did you notice the letter S in sun is capitalized? This is to give respect to the Egyptian sun god Ra. Have you seen the Egyptian obelisk in the Vatican's front yard? The last arrow points to your reward for studying the Bible. Your reward is to have a fellowship with the saints and participation of a heavenly nature that will never fade away. There is no such thing as nature to a truthful Christian. Our Creator created everything. By their own words, they were not seeking to know our Creator or Jesus. Not everyone has the knowledge to correct every word. I have an old Bible program that has the New American Standard Bible 1977 concordance to help find a better word. Their concordance has the number of times they use that English word in a parenthesis for that Hebrew word. The translators removed his name, YHVH, to put in 2 titles, Lord and God. I replaced those titles using the letters Y and V as his name, for the Hebrew language does not have a J, O, or W. By using these 2 letters, I am closer to the truth than anyone using J, O, or W for his name. So why is there a single letter O in the Hebrew text 1,095 times? No proper English was used? The blue highlighted text is text that I am removing. The red highlighted words are little words that I'm adding. Gray italic words are words that I added. To respect and honor our Creator, all capital letters in purple are our Creator's words. This is Jesus' prophecy, for I am revealing the first writer's words to tell you the true truths about Jesus. As the text is revealed, you can taste the writer's style of wording. Their words will take your belief to trusting our Creator. You will be watching prophecy before your eyes as I added true truths back into their psalms. All right, this will be a continuing of Ezra, but what I want to show right off the bat is what I've got so far. As you can see, it's a 4-verse grouping here to make a small paragraph, and another 4, and then these 2 make a larger paragraph. And what we have here is the story of the return of the captives. And what you see, that was chapter 1. Chapter 2, there wasn't much, throughout a lot of text. Here in Ezra 3, got some pieces. These will go together, but there's text missing. But I've done these for many years, and what I'll tell you right now is that there's going to be pieces all over the place in Ezra, and what I'm going to do is try to connect them the best I can. Either I'll put missing verses here, or I will find the text that will actually go there. Then this was Ezra 4, and I still needed to edit some of the text to make it look read better. So if you watched the video for Ezra 4, you can see it's quite long, and I needed to do some extra editing on that after I seen what the text actually was like. So what I want to do is just say that I'm going to start now on Ezra 5, and I'll add that to this text. Now, if you just want to go to the end and see that text, that's fine. But if you want to watch and hear why I'm editing the words, to be truthful, that's because I probably am number one in the world of knowing the stories in the Bible, and what's true and what's not true. So by revealing the first writer's formats, this will change history, and the text, when I get done with it, will be the text that will always be true for the future. All Bibles will become junk. I already done our Creator's hidden formats, and you can see that on my website below. You can go there. It's about a 6-hour read, 7 if you're slow. But the thing here is that when you read that, that is the truth our Creator is revealing, and that message is to you. This is to prove that there are formats that they started with and covered up. And what I'm using this is as like a secondary book when I'm done with it, as the pieces get put together. Since I already know some of the pieces, how they're going to fit, I've been correcting that as I go. Example here, you can see that I've lost some editing. I forgot how my macro works, but it went down and erased a lot of text that I already started making 8-point. Because I've got the word Daniel here, and this is in 2, but when I go over here to the text, it is actually this name here. So, and then you can see that the next name here, I also got rid of already. That's the blue text, the son of. So that is going to be the way you see it now. I'm not going to go through and correct it. What I'm going to do is come over here and show you now in verse 3, when it says governor of the providence. You can see I've got the word beyond, but this text here in italics is usually, or is noted as, words that they added in 1977 text. And other than that, when you see the title God, it is listed as this Hebrew word for God. So when people see the text and say all capital letters mean God, well, they had other words for God already, and they just keep confusing the text and getting rid of our Creator, the knowledge of our Creator. I am Jesus's prophecy that the Helper will come and tell you the truth about Jesus, and that way it will give you the confidence of actually what was said by him a long time ago. And if you take the time and actually go to the website and read our Wivey's Everlasting Promises, I'm working on the next edit up on that, trying to keep editing, keep getting it to be perfect. That way, whatever you're seeing right then, yes, I know there's errors in there, but I'm correcting them. But the book still is probably about 95% done when you see it. Now, what I'm looking for is the smallest grouping of words that I can make to make a verse. And that way I then start breaking them down into paragraphs. And then I end up with his everlasting, or the first writer's formats. So, oops, wrong one. Okay. When the prophets, okay, these are our creator, or from when his prophets, okay, have to make sure they're, everybody, whoops, still not used to that macro yet. Should be getting better at that. I switched computers and put a bunch of new, or I went by that other computer for months, a couple months, and it has different macros. So now I'm back on the old keyboard, got to get back to it, or the old computer. Okay, when the prophets Haggai and Zechariah, we don't need this. This is just extra text not needed to be known. Prophesied to the Israelis. Well, not really. These two guys seem to be on the land there that left what's known as the remnant. So when I speak of remnant, those were the people and their descendants left after they went into captivity. The ones that went into Babylon were known as captives. But when the captives come down, I'm gonna start using the word survivors. And then as they gets together and they meet up, then they'll all become survivors, or Israelis again. So here I gotta say remnant. I think that's how it's spelled. Nope. There we go. Prophesied to our, let's make it first person. Our remnant. I know the remnant actually lived throughout the whole promised land, so I'm having a hard time figuring out what I should actually have here as the text. So when his prophets, I'm going to put a comma and I'm going to put a period, and I'm going to go back to a comma. This means I need one more verse. Now, here I'm looking for how I can do this. Who were in Judah and Jerusalem. Now, Judah would be the nation Judah, and this would be Jerusalem. The last story of when the people were brought up. Okay, what do I got here? Okay. I get this a lot. I get an audio message. Anyways, that's not bad because I've been having a hard time streaming anyway. Haggai, the prophet. They were all scattered in the land, and our Creator had prophesied that He'll take care of them and protect them there, and He did. So it wouldn't be Judah. I would have to say that we're in the that were in our land. And the land I'm going to use as noted as promised land by using all capital letters. And when I'm saying promised land, I'm talking west of the Jordan River. Okay. Because at the end, when there wasn't many there, the story in Jeremiah says that the Arabs came in and settled in onto the east side of the river. And so they wouldn't want to live among their enemies because they were few and far between. They did have an assembly of people that were still strong enough to do battle and help them fight and keep their area, but it doesn't. The text is not going to tell us exactly where everyone was at. So I'm doing my best to put it in remnant who were in our land and by Jerusalem. Okay, if I do that, I think I can put a period on that here. Now, we know what a prophet does, so this does not need to be needed. But notice how they have here, who was over them. Like the writer here does not believe our Creator at all. So let me show you that in the book here. When I go over here, whoops, here's the word was. Okay, right here. Now, a lot of times when I find words like this, I go and try to do BibleHub.com that has older Bibles. And then when you search and see that a lot of them are going to have the same text, all of them are agreeing that they don't believe that we have a Creator. But that's not true. Who was over them? Our Creator was over them. Not, He is over. He always exists. He is not an alpha, omega, or nothing. He is. Okay? When you get used to our Creator is, things will improve in your life of honoring and respecting our Creator when you speak of Him. Then Daniel and this guy here, and I'm not sure if this name is going to change, and I've showed that before, that's in Zechariah. I've already done that text, and you can watch the video. It's listed in my live streams. You'll see that that name is like a BE here, but it's kind of so close that's what I'm thinking is why they should be the same name or same person. This we don't need again, just added extra text. They arose to rebuild the house. Okay. And because I don't like using a title that I don't care for, we know whose house it is when I say his house. Okay. Now, the thing here is they were sent down. And as much as I'm knowing about the story and the dates and times that are mentioned already in Ezra, that the timing here of when they began the rebuilding, these Zechariah, that the prophet up here at top that I've already done, he was sent to Daniel, and then he already assigned the priests, and then they were going to assign the work or the workers to rebuild his house and rebuild Jerusalem. The years are going to be, they returned in 40, after 40 years, but it took them another 30 years to completely rebuild Jerusalem. And it's not going to have over fortified walls or anything. Our Creator has had a prophecy of that, of how Jerusalem was going to be after he sent them down there. Now, and that will be in Zechariah as well. Now, this time that they arose and began to work on his house, you have to understand the timing of these verses. Because there's going to be small, how do I say this? Small little snippets of the story being repeated throughout many of these books, because I'm going to do Haggai, and you can see that Haggai is here, and we're going to have, sorry about that. What I did was I said that I don't need these guys' names here, put his name here, and then you understood why I was trying to explain the timing of here. And this was Zechariah that I've done, and this is Haggai. There is another book called Haggai, so I will be doing that. And some of these pieces are going to be added together to make a complete story. So a lot of times I'm just going to get random groups of the first writer's formats, but they aren't going to be in order, is what I'm trying to get at here. So now that you've got a good intro to what my video is, and I do make mistakes by pushing a button and I didn't get back with you, I'm sorry about that. But these are live streams, and that's what happens. Arose and began to rebuild his house. And we know where it's at. We know it's in Jerusalem, so that's not it. And so this is almost like it's turning into a 3-verse. And because arose and began to rebuild, that's connecting those two together. It can rise to here, like a comma, then a period. If I put a comma here, to rebuild his house, and, well, if I just grab these two words here, and his prophets, I'm going to put supported them. Now, the thing here is the word them at the end has to be now changed to us. The writer would have been at that time would have been writing the text, and that's why I'm making it first person, and this helps make it more first person. Not talking to yourself as other people. Now here, let me bring up the book here, Ezra, at the top. That what it starts out is here. Nope, not that one. Right here. And this, the last chapter, when our enemies heard the tribes had returned our rebuilding, it doesn't have the names of anybody. And that's what I was saying. They're probably going to be down farther. But this is that they were trying to discourage them for many months. And then they wrote a complaint. but you don't get to know who these people are until now. So at that time, and I'll make his name T, so we don't have to go through that anymore, and was the governor, and that means he was assigned by Babylon east of the Jordan River, by the way. Governor. See, it says beyond. There's no beyond. It has to be east. East, yes. I'm trying to figure out how this is going to be. And I showed you this was just italic words not needed anymore. Governor east of the Jordan River. The word Jordan is missing. Now, when I add a word, I use it as all italic. And I'll just put a comma here, separate that I'm getting rid of it, a period here. And now I've got a comma. And these, I don't need that. The governor is going to be of authority. So when he's coming, he's going to come with his colleagues came with him. I think it would be better to say his officials. And then we don't need to know their name today, because some of the officials would have to be like his advisors, his I would say maybe lawyers, and I would say commanders or of his army or whatever. So these have to be officers. Yeah, I'm really terrible at English or spelling. Officers. So I do a lot of guessing until I get the right one to pop up. Okay. Okay. Now, these officers, and I'm going to use the word and here, and his officers came to us. I'm going to use the word us right now. And that way it can be changed. I'm doing so many editings. So, because like right now, this verse and this verse should go together, and then I'm going to have like this verse 1, 2, 3, 4 has now got to be connected with the next one down. Came to us and said, no, it has to be told, because I see this decree by King Cyrus. So, and told us. Wait a second. This is okay. Now, this is. I was confused because I thought the story was going to go in order. So let me show you what's going on here. It's asking who issued you a decree to rebuild the structure. Okay. Now, let me pull up the other one. The other. Where is it? Yeah. Okay. Right here. Right here. They approached Daniel and asked, "Why are you restoring it?" And Daniel said, so they already had this conversation, and then they sent a letter to Cyrus, and now they even got the letter back. Okay. Yeah, their king sent a letter to this guy here. This is not Tate, but let me take his name now and put it back into the text. Because, see, this guy actually is who they said the first time was the guy that was the governor, okay? So, yes, this is confusing. So if you just want to skip to the end to see what I did, that's fine. But I'm going to try to make this stream at least 2-3 hours here tonight. Now let me see here. And this would have to be asked again. So I'm redoing the same story over. Ask us who, I guess, issued who issued but see, they have to know that, okay, because I'm trying to understand the mentality of the people back then. And for something to get rebuilt, I guess at that time, would need the authority of the king of Babylon or Assyria or Persia, whichever one it is at this time. Because Assyria and Babylon, I believe, became one, yet they were going to share. The next king after Babylon was going to be the Assyrian king, but still be under the banner Babylon. To rebuild. It's never a temple, it's a house, so let me correct that part. And being that they would be in there, or they would know this, it wouldn't be this house, it would be his house. Oops, I'm going to just do it that way right now. And maybe not bold and use it all text like that. His house. To demean our creator as a foreigner would, a non-believer who'd to rebuild his house. And see, this is like it's a 3-verse format here. Yes, whom. If they understood if it was issued a decree, they would know it was coming from the king. So how is this text? I know it's been corrupt. I just got to figure out the right words to be said here, because ask us whom sent us with the authority. Yeah, I'd have to add all those words on my own, but it sounds better than who sent you with authority. But those are more truer than what issued a decree, because I can't conceive that they would say that they were going to be against the decree or an issued decree. So they didn't know this. That's why they come over to investigate it. So I have to be truthful here. And for my future notes, when I go and shorten this story up, I want to make sure I tie that together and explain that again. To rebuild his house and to it's got finish, but it's not really right here. Now, I know if I go over here to this text, sometimes I find a word here that helps me figure out, see, it's not enough here. But if I go to structure only used twice, but like this one, no. Let's see, the word what? Wow. I'm striking out all over the place. Usually there's about 50 words there, and some are only used once. And I could help to figure out what would be a more correct way of saying this. Because if his house is being rebuilt, then it's got to be the wall around. Or to, and I would say that when I'm asking, or when, because in finish, it's not to finish. I'm putting, okay, we have altars that are there. Okay, there's 12 of them, and then there's a large one. And then there is pails there to remove the ashes. There's fire pans that have a fire stand that they can go get fire and then put that under the kindling of the wood, and then there's going to be stands on top, or stands with hooks to put the muscles from the sacrificed animal, and this is the offering. To do all this, well, how do I say this in a better way than finish its structure? And to rebuild his house. And I got to put remake here. That's the only word that's coming to me. Remake its items is the quickest way I can get to say this. So even though I'm putting all this in, that is more correct than that. Okay. Now that being said, No, hold on a second. Now I'm getting the warning I didn't want to see. And that's my bit rate. Okay, apply. Okay. Got to keep looking over there now more often, because once it starts giving me all these numbers, I really have a problem. I'm still trying to figure the stream out. I was streaming out real good at the next size down from 12, what is it, 1080p was 19 something, and the next step down is 800 and something by 1500 or something. And I was streaming it for 2 months, no problems. Now I can't stream at 6,000 bits and all. Anyways, sorry. I just getting disappointed with YouTube here. Probably need to spend more money on a computer. Yeah, I know that's what you're thinking. I know. I just got to save up and spend all that money and remake its items. Then we told them then we asked them, then we told them accordingly what the names of the men who are reconstructing. It's not reconstructing, it's rebuilding. So we'll start there, rebuilding. And I would say that it's not a building, it's a this. And I'm going to say it's not bold and it's all that, but it means our Creator's house. But when the enemy speaks of it that way, that's how I designated the text. Okay, now, then they asked, us. And let me fill all this stuff in here to get the right meaning of the right words here. Because when you have the word what are the names, you got to have a question here. Then they ask us. And I can't use that word. And I don't think it's going to be the word then is really a word. Oh, it is. See, sometimes Strong felt that even the simplest words needed to be the most important said in what he's doing here to say how to put these other Hebrew words together. So that's good. Okay, because I'd say 80% or 90%, maybe even higher, not there. So, because what you're seeing me do here is I'll have 2 major words, and then you'll see 1, 2 here, and then you'll see like 1, 2 here, and 1, 2. See, that's how I try to keep the format. Now, I know sometimes there are 3, 4 words that are needed. That just because I can't make more verses up. So, but the story is getting told correctly. What are wrong place? What are the names? This would be question mark. Of the men who are rebuilding this. And that would be a question mark then here. And see, then the story is going to be so abrupt and change again. Okay, but the eye, like our creator only has one eye, okay? That I thought was unique when I was breaking the sentences down. But the eye of their God was on the elders. Like this person doesn't know that they're the writers of the Hebrew text. I mean, if it was in Hebrew, it would be us, their God, their God, the eye of their God. Okay. But I already showed you the story that they are sent raiders. Let me see if I can bring that up again. That's the copy of the letter. Okay, here. Then our people were discouraged by them frightening us from rebuilding, and they hired raiders to frustrate us for months. Okay? Now look at the word here where it says until. See, that tells me that they couldn't remember from the last chapter what they wrote. Okay? But that's what goes on here. So let me see here. How am I going? See, now they're going to rewrite the story, and they're writing it to the wrong king. Oh. And again, the writer's talking in a third person sense of like he doesn't belong to the people here. I have to read this to see what's going on. See, then we also ask them their name. So this is going to be their letter again, wrote, and the king's name is Cyrus at this time. See, this was the king here, according to the decree. No, that's the king who sent them. I'm getting confused now myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put both names next to each other, because someday I'm going to get it figured out. But right now it's just confusing as ever. But and it wasn't a report, it was a complaint. And they sent it. I'm going to have to use the complaint here. because this letter is truly a complaint, not a report. As you've seen, a lot of this down here, rebuilding and stuff, and then it's going to be down farther. Where is it? Okay. It was mentioned above then that they wouldn't pay, they would be rebellious to the king, and they wouldn't pay him tolls or taxes or whatever was done at that time. It has to be they sent a complaint. So get rid of that there. Say I added this and this, and all this is not needed. They sent a complaint to, it would be known as our king at that time. So it still would have been like this, period. And they sent a complaint to King Cyrus and asked for a reply to be returned concerning it. This is not there. This, 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 and asked for a reply to be returned to them concerning us, not it. And that sounds better. Okay. Now, does that mean they give them a copy of the letter? Which, where's his name right here? Not this guy. Not like that, but this would be from. Okay, now this is the letter. This is the letter. Their governor. Their governor. Because he's over in another area that seems that really didn't have like a governor over there. So, but since I'm going to use these two words that are really added into the text anyway, I'm just going to leave it like that and say I used them anyway. Although, no, I'm not even going to make it gray. This is the letter from Riam, their governor, And do I have already, we know who he is and where he's from. So I don't need this verse. Don't need these names. And now here it says the words officials. But here I would have to change this to, I'm going to put advisors. Advisors and officials. And then that way, one happy group that and then this would be a comma, and this is all not needed. This is the copy of the letter sent to our king. I'll just put it that way and have that taken care of right now as a problem of figuring out his name. Okay, now it'd be a period. Now that right there, I better show you what this looks like cleaned up, just in case you made it this far with me. It's almost an hour, and just to start showing you that, yeah, it takes an hour to do some of this. Although but the first 5 minutes are actually the intro, and then a lot of this is me just explaining, and I got to get it past this mark here. Let me put it here, and then hopefully my macros will work a little bit here. Oh, that was nice. Okay, now this is what it's starting to look like. There should be only one space here. Two spaces here to show that these two are connected together. Then I'm going to repeat this. 1 and then 2. There's 2. And then 1. Let's see if it's actually going to work this way, although I don't know. But you can see now that out of all that, if I look for the story to be told, that was there to be told, that's what it looks like, cleaned up. Okay. And it's when his prophets Haggai and Zechariah prophesied to the remnant who are in our land and by Jerusalem. Then Daniel and Shishu arose and began to rebuild his house, and his prophets supported us. Okay, at that time, Rehum was the governor east of the Jordan River, and his officers came to us, or his officials came to us, and asked us, whom sent you with authority to rebuild his house and remake its items? And you can see that's a truthful statement. And that kind of ties together Then, because I'm looking for subjects that could be put together, so that's a good wrap there. Then he asked us, what are the names of the men who are rebuilding this? Then I need the word then here. Then they sent a complaint to our king Cyrus and asked for a reply to be returned to them concerning us. This is the letter from Rehum, their governor, and his advisors and officials that was sent to our king. Okay. So that's, now that looks pretty good. Okay. But to say that I had to do all that, it's easy for me to do. But the thing here is it looks confusing when I'm doing this, but when it gets done, it looks really, really good. So I'm going to have to say that this needs to go up here on the last end here. And then I want to do this. This is next to the word complaint. And I'm going to get rid of this because I'm still working on the text. I just wanted to show you what it was going to look like. So need to add that there. All right. They sent the report to him in which it was written, and it's not in Aramaic this time. Then they sent a report to him it was, we already have, this is the letter, okay? So this is just a double speak and not needed. It has to be our king. You would not address the king any other way. If you're asking him, you'd be saying, hey, we're your subjects. Not all peace, forever peace. Okay, let's get that right. Although, wait a second, it's almost like, okay, I just seen that this was 3. I could make 4 real easy right here. So maybe this editing was not needed. Let it be known to our king. And it's not really let it be known. It's like we are and I'm just putting it here, letting it. Yeah, I guess that's enough. I was trying to say how else could I edit those words, and then this is not needed. It would be, to Darius our king, we are letting it be known to you. Okay, so that would be this. You wouldn't do the double on the king part here. So what I want to check is to see if the word letting is important here. Let. No, it's not there, but I'm going to use it as a major word. It needs to be. So I'm going to actually say that I put that word in to be a major word. We are letting it be known to you. Now we have gone to, this is not by the governor. It's the text. It's saying this, and then it's saying this. This is when they got the reply and come and told to stop. I think this, when that letter was going to them, then those that were in Jerusalem wrote a letter back. This is the text that it says that we have gone to our land, gone to Jerusalem. Gone to, and I can't even spell Jerusalem. My head is thinking of three different things here. This has to be, this was what the edict, or this is what the decree was sent out, to go to Jerusalem to rebuild his house. We have gone to Jerusalem. We have not gone, but we have arrived. We have arrived to Jerusalem. We have arrived we were sent to Jerusalem. Not gone, sent. Now that seems like that is, because that's more to the story. And I'm going to just say we were. Right now, to either one of the kings here, we are letting it be known to you, we were sent to Jerusalem to rebuild to rebuild. And I'm going to put his name in, Ivy's house. And that takes care of this. They wouldn't call him a great god. Okay, that's just funny to see this return letter saying of a great god when they were sent to rebuild our Creator's house. He let them know in Jerusalem. They let him know, like what he did in Egypt doing the plagues. He did the same type of acts to the king of Nebuchadnezzar and the following king after him, which I think is Darius. It's just been a while since I've done the text, but it will all work out. I'm just, and this would be a comma here, and this would be here. Now, do I take this down here and start the next verse? And we asked those elders and said to them who issued you a decree. No, okay, I don't think this needs to be said. Okay, I just don't think I need to edit. The important part is right here. Now, because they hadn't had time to do all this yet. We were asked. Oops, red. Then we were asked I'm going to grab this here and say, what can I use of this? Let me see if the word then is there again. That would be really cool if it was. It is. Okay. Then we were asked by okay, these are out. And if I'm going to put all this in, well, I need to put your governor, period. But I need to put all this in gray. Ask by your governor. And I'm going to have to do the same thing with this, this word, sent you with authority. Who sent you with authority. Yeah. Is house, and they would give him a respect, of course. So it'd be like this, like this. This would be down, but using their words. This would be a comma, and this would be a question mark. Now I gotta, okay, don't need these words here. And then we all saw how gibberish this gets. Then we ask them their names. No, that we might write it down. So we ask them, and the names of the men who are at their head. See, that's why the text is so confusing. If you get rid of the oversalted words, then you get an understanding of what's going on here. Okay, I should have been looking over because I got a warning. Good thing it's only on my audio. So, anyways, then they ask thus, and thus they ask us. And this is their reply. Because I already got their reply up above. Okay, so don't worry about that part. And I don't need to add extra text to their report because it's pretty thorough, or it's meaning what I've pretty much replied here. But this is their letter to them. Okay, this would be their, yes, now this would be, because our forefathers rebuilt this house. And I don't need this. And then I need this. Our forefathers provoked our, and I'm going to say just creator, and use this word or this title, creator, to replace this, and say our creator. I can say in heaven. I was going to say of Israel, but there it is. In heaven. Now that would be a comma, and that would be a period. And he gave us to Nebuchadnezzar, comma, and now that king would know who Nebuchadnezzar is. This isn't that important to the king. and were captives. In Babylon. Okay, that's good. At least we're getting to retire. The word, however, and it could be the word then, done a little different. However, okay. However, I'll use it. However, in the first year of year 4, Cyrus. Now, this king would know that he was the past king, and it doesn't need this. Year of Cyrus. I could say he issued us a decree to rebuild, because I want to make sure that the text is going to say that when this king finds out who, they're going to have to ask him who is this God that they're talking about, even though that I'm putting it here. I could have put it down here, but to rebuild Wyvie's house. So this would be good here. Oops, don't need all that extra. Not trying to make it proper English. And then we got that part. Now there's going to be 2 verse grouping. Okay, so now how many more before I have to? I'll get to 6. Okay. And also with rebuild the house. Oh, I don't need this. Well, let me keep that right now. And with is utensils. Don't need this. Utensils for now they're used as to atone. It's part of the process they need, the utensils. It's not for the house. It's for our utensils, for our offering, for our offerings. range by his house. Don't need this. Got that. And then to explain it, which Nebuchadnezzar took. Comma, not a period. Took. And I'm going to have to say put. Is a better word. It's within the shadow of the word brought. And this is all capitalized, so we know that they're utensils. To his, and it wouldn't have been the, it would have been his treasury. His treasury. Period. Okay. This is starting to shape up pretty good. These I guess I could use the word the and get rid of his. Now this is where I gotta say that I'm using a lot more words than I would right here, but I can't get around it. I gotta say it's this. These King Cyrus took from the treasury in Babylon. Although I guess I could get away with it by doing this. They know you're in Babylon, so what am I doing? It would be like that. We're given now this again, if you ever read Daniel, how he gets a bigger name like this, that's why I keep saying it's Daniel, or one of the reasons. and he appointed him as our governor. Okay, now I got 1, 2. I get rid of that. Okay. To Daniel, and he appointed him as our governor. Okay, now I'm going to add the word to me, Daniel. Okay, that's just because I'm thinking Daniel would have been the one to have the authority to write using his name, his name, his name, tying his name to Nebuchadnezzar. So he would be trying to figure out what's the history on Nebuchadnezzar and what did he take and how did it happen and who is this Daniel that's now been appointed governor? Give me the history on that guy. So that's my thinking. And okay, bit rate seems to be okay now. Right. And he asked him, he should agree to rebuild his house, temple, or utensils. Rebuild, who done it? From them were brought back from the treasury Daniel and a governor. Yeah, I got that already, so I don't need any of this text. I was just making sure everything was covered in this that's already been said. And from, okay, now appointed him as governor. And from then until now, his house his house I'm thinking if the word being here is these, no, they're not enough, not strong enough. Okay. So what I'm thinking is I don't need any of this, but I can't see a 4 verse coming from here. So I've got to use 2 verses here. His house is under construction. I should have checked the word construction. What is the... Yeah, it's being set as rebuilt. Is I'm going to have to put being in his house as being. We got to use that third word in this length here. Rebuilt. And it is not completed. Then Daniel came to Jerusalem. And from this is getting confusing because I've got enough to make like 6 verses here. Then Daniel came to Jerusalem and until now his house is being rebuilt. Until now has been has been yeah, I got to put all that back. And his house is being rebuilt. Period. I can't do any better than that. Now, how about getting rid of that and just not completed? Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. this, and his house is not complete, has not been. I'll put this, I'm using that, and get rid of this way over there, has not been completed. Whew, that was something there. And again, another warning. Now let it please the king. No, that isn't what it would be. That is. Now let our king search. May search be conducted. In the record house. It's not. I don't know if it'd be the record house or record room. You would want this in the palace. So I'm going to say room. Record room. Or record library. I think, yeah, that's what I used last time. Library. And then I would say that that would be here. Well, no, I need the words in the record library. Now, if it pleases the king, and I need the word here, kings again, and it would be this, in the king's library. Or I could make this all one word, but I'm going to use the library, okay. That verse is settled now. This I've got to get, because this is going to connect with that. Search be conducted. Now, please, that pleases. Now, please, now, please, now, please, let our king learn of this, learn of us. How's that? Now please let our king learn of us. And a search be conducted in the king's records. And I don't need this. Okay, in the king's records. Okay. Now, they know it's in Babylon. Okay, now they're going to speak to what he should be looking for. In the king's records. A decree was issued by King Cyrus to rebuild Ivy's house. And the oops, let me get and the city Jerusalem. And let the king send to us his decision and I'm going to add 2 blank statements, but I'm thinking what those statements would be. For we are your servants dedicated to do this, and to what I'm saying, for us to ask for forgiveness, something like that. But I can see that would be something that would draw the king's attention to what they want to be him to know. So that's how I'm seeing the text need to be added. Now I can grab all of this. And that was really good because I've been streaming for almost 2 hours, and that is really cool because I just seen over there on my screen through the corner of my eye, you're almost a lifetime with me. I'd say less than 10 seconds. After 2 hours, that's pretty good. All right, what I do is I'll just take this and then hopefully go beautiful, and to do that and do no, and now do all the editing again or correcting text and let you read this. Let me put it like this so you can read more than what I'm editing. Okay, I'm going to move the text down here a little bit. Should be 2 here, 1 here. Okay, I'm going to move the text. I'm pretty sure I don't have the great king's name in the right places right now. So, although I added this, didn't I? Oh, it'll be 1 space. I did add this. This has to be a double space. But now I have the return letter, okay, or the letter they sent out, Daniel sent out. So that is unique to be able to see that. That's probably the first time this text you're seeing in at least 2,300 years. That means this should have a space. And look at that, how complete the story is. Perfect, right on time. Now that is good. Whoops. Yes, save it. Now what I'm going to do, I guess I should read it once just to go through it and see if it needs some smoothing out. When his prophets Haggai and Zechariah prophesied to our remnant who were in our land by Jerusalem, then Daniel and Jeush arose and began to rebuild his house, and his prophets supported us. At that time, Rehum was the governor east of the river Jordan, and his officers came to us and asked whom sent you with authority to rebuild his house and remake its items. Then they asked us, what are the names of the men who are rebuilding this? Then they sent a complaint to our king, and I don't know which one. I'm going to do that through most of them here, and asked for a reply to be returned to them concerning us. This is the letter from Rehum, their governor, and his advisors and officials, that was sent to our king. To our king, let it be known to you, we were sent to Jerusalem. Yeah, this has got too much of a space here. That's a different subject. That was one, and this is our letter to them. Okay, then we're asked by Rehoboam, their governor, who sent you with authority to rebuild his house. For our forefathers provoked our Creator in heaven, and he gave us to Nebuchadnezzar, and then Nebuchadnezzar, excuse me, and I still probably got that wrong, and were captives in Babylon. However, in the first year of Cyrus, he issued us a decree to rebuild Wyvie's house, and with his utensils for our offerings by his house, which Nebuchadnezzar took and put them into his treasury. To his treasury. These King Cyrus took from the treasury and were given to me, Daniel, and he appointed me because you have to understand Daniel was very fluent in their language, and he appointed me as our governor. Then I, Daniel, doesn't it read first person now? Isn't that just great? Then I, Daniel, came to Jerusalem, and until now, his house has not, I need the word been, has not been completed. His house is not, yeah, do it that way. His house is not completed. Now please let our king learn of us, and a search be conducted in the king's records for a decree was issued to me by King Cyrus to rebuild Wyvie's house in the city. I'm going to put the word and, because when the king is pulling out to do everything by the king's treasury, according to the decree, it was the city for him as well. And let the king send to us his decision concerning this. That is some awesome text. I like this stuff. When you can just pull the years away and actually reveal the true history of the text. And then it's going to get added to this text, and these pieces are going to go together, and that is what's great. Okay, so this is just I just know it'd be confusing to so many people if they try to do this, but it's easy enough to find a lot of text that doesn't need to be what we see here right now. I'm thinking if I should start a new one or keep going. I'm just going to keep going because tomorrow is Saturday and I'm going to try to stream as long as I can tomorrow. So then King and whoops. Oh, where is their two names here so I can. And I won't have this name really figured out until I get to Daniel because I'm thinking it's Daenerys is the one who sent him and Cyrus is the one that they're talking to or wanting to talk to. Then King Cyrus issued a decree and a search was made. Now he doesn't need to issue the decree. Then King Cyrus ordered his record keeper to I'm going to have to say this word. I'm going to change it to here to make and say I'm adding that letter. Then I'm going to say I'm going to make it smaller. To make a search is what I want to say. To make a search. And yet this I want to put in yellow just to show that I'm moving this word here to there. Usually I'd make a note. I'm trying to shorten it up. It would be something like switch words around. Search. Then King Cyrus ordered the keepers to make a. Boy, I just don't want to itch my nose in front of you there. Oh, man. The record to make a search. In the King's, and I'm going to make that added. And this, not archives, but library again. Don't need this. Too far away. And they didn't have scrolls, they had tablets. One of the earliest we know that the kings, how they put things down and they couldn't change it. Clay tablets. They hardened them, and there they were. Nobody could get in there and edit any words, even years later. And a tablet was found. And there was written, and there it was. I have to add the word it was written. As and I don't need any of them, and say using this. There, okay, I got another message coming up here. Wow, no, there's no message. It must have turned on and turned off. And a tablet was found, and there it was written, in the first year of King Cyrus. Don't trust the dates here. Issued his decree concerning those in the city Jerusalem. Whoa, wait a second. I need this. That was odd. There's four though. And then there's going to be, this one's going to start. Let the temple of that place where sacrifices are offered be rebuilt. Let his place let his places No, let us house and place. No, I still need an and in front of it. And I'm going to make that as city, word city. House and city. Where be rebuilt on be rebuilt on their foundations. Don't need that. That's a sentence. This is wrong. It wasn't 60 cubics in height. Actually, it was 20 cubics wide by 40 cubics long. And if you use that as the inside measurement, you can make square granite blocks, 3 sizes, 1 by 1 by 1 cubic, which is 18 inches, and 1 by 1 by 2 cubics, and 1 by 1 by 3 cubics, and you can remake the house for our creator and tell me the size of the doors, because I've already done that. The only other piece that needs to be cut was the one that needs to be above the doors, and that is 5 cubics long. But the other ones all match up and can construct his house. So, and I can get rid of this and let the cost be paid from the royal treasury. I like that. Okay, now that is the edict, or that's the decree. And also, the gold and silver utensils his utensils, but it's not there. Let also his and also let his gold and silver utensils which Nebuchadnezzar took and brought to Babylon be returned I'm just gonna and be returned to their place in his house in Jerusalem. Ta-da! Now, what's suspicious about this is that maybe these are written in a 2-verse format. Where I still have to add like this and like this to say that there's more being said here. Okay. And this guy's name was what? Rehum. My governor. East of their river. I'm going to put now tell Miriam, my governor, period, east of your river, east of my river, east of your river. That's kind of really weird here. It's not east of the river. Be more correct. If I put in there, then I'm influencing the text too much, I think, if I'm not doing it. But now tell Rehum, my governor, east of the river, to stay away, to keep away. I don't think it would be keep away, to stay away Stay away from, I can keep the word there, I guess, not a problem. Okay, now that's a quick said or issue here. You stow away from there. And let there your let your work on. Because now he's well aware whose house it is, so. And let your work on Ivy's house be rebuilt on its site. And the full cost be paid to be paid from the from the taxes I would say from both provinces, but I'm not going to use their text at all. Beyond the river, their taxes. From your taxes. And without delay, whatever is needed. This again is going to have 2 verses missing because this is just wrong. They're atoning for their not obeying the 12 commandments. So all this is wrong. Wow. If I was looking for 2 verses, can't be much more perfect than those 2 right there. As the priest, or as his priest. His priests. Now this I've got to change up here for the simple fact that they aren't established down there. These other guys are established up there. So how okay. And the cost is to be paid. From their taxes. And without delay, whatever is needed as his priest's request are to be given them. I guess that's not it is, but without delay. So there we have that thinking. Now here, that they may offer I need this word here over here. They sacrifice for their offerings acceptable to And I'm going to just change it here to YV. Um, it's not pray, and it's to petition. If you're asking our Creator something, you want to petition. A prayer, a pray is the act of how you are when you are praying or speaking to our Creator. To ask is a petition. That they sacrifice their offerings to be accepted by YV. And to petition for the safety and I guess that's too far away, so I'm going to say yes, I've added that word. For their kings and their sons. That they sacrifice for their offering to be acceptable by YV and petition for the safety for their kings and their sons. Because they have to acknowledge that they're under a different king. So that's, and I can see that king has woke up when he found out what gone on with Nebuchadnezzar and everything. Yes, he okay, got another big flash warning over here. Okay, it's just about audio, but the thing there is that was unique to see the fear of this king all of a sudden show up in the text, that he's worried that this he recognized what happened. Yeah, he was all on board. So if you want to know about some others that went to heaven, okay, other kings that went to heaven, by the way. Yeah, this isn't going to be true at all. May the God who has caused his name to live there overthrow any king or people who attempts to change it. No, I don't see that needed. This is pretty much okay. All we know. We don't need to know about that. We know that the king gave his word and that was it. Or gave his decree, and that is the end of that story. This has to start out as we were. This isn't needed. We were successful in rebuilding. Now, see, you don't know that there is prophesying that went on. The argument was that I'll just tell you I know what's going on here when I'm seeing this, and I just can't throw this out because the long story is that when they told them, then they were sending raiders there and they stopped them. It was prophesied, I think, by Haggai to continue doing what they were doing. Okay. Now, the successful rebuilding and then having to mention Zechariah here is not really included, except for the assignment of the priest and the to assign who's going to work. So I have to use, and I have to say his prophet. And then this is not needed. We were successful in building through the prophesying, through the prophecy through Haggai. No, we were successful in rebuilding through the. This, according to that's a prophecy. We know what that's. This whole verse is put into this word. It says be his. I'm reading it a little bit over and over in my head, so I'm going to take a look at the stream there. Okay, everything's good. Through his prophecy, period. Through Haggai, his prophet. I've got it in two places, though. I don't like doing that. I mean, when I got here, we were successful in rebuilding. Let me see. If I get rid of that first sentence and say, through his prophecy, through his prophecy, from Haggai his prophet, and get rid of this. We've finished rebuilding. The decree from and I don't know which one of these we're going to keep. Not this guy. But if I do that as a period, it's a rough one, but it's not as smooth as the other ones I've got. And his house was completed on the third day can't be the third day of the sixth year. On the in the this has to be in the third month of our sixth year. for well, I'll just leave it like that because I still need to edit, find out what king we're talking about here. And the descendants from Israel. From Israel. Partied hardy. I don't think this is needed. This is not needed. Celebrated dedication. And that means it's his house dedication. It's got to be after. Or it's got to be priest. And I'm seeing that I just added all this, so offered. Because the large altar was actually made to offer by the king for the whole nation of Israel. So I'm trying to offered our an offering. And this is what our Creator, that is what our Creator was expecting from them. There was also a peace offering needed when they went to go to battle on the large altar. But right now that I can think of, they would have done that to like, we haven't done this, we're going to start doing this. And we're back on track again as being his righteous servants on earth. And this wouldn't be, there was been one offering, not all of this. This would not been right. Now, this has to be done actually before they can offer. So now this story is out of order. Okay. Did they appointed our priests? You have to have one for each tribe. Okay. That's what I was saying. Tribes. From Levi's. Or ministering. Minor string. Min. Oh, let's see if it just finds it. They knew what I wanted. And I've got to check to see here what's going on with this verse. I see okay. I got this space right here. I didn't know if I created that or not for ministering. Oh, this is for creator. Yeah, I'm using the word from right now. Okay, but at least that is how it's supposed to be done truthfully. Not exiles, they're survivors now. I'm going to have to put them. And it's not observed, they celebrated. And this was a statute, so that's from our Creator to do this. Then our survivors celebrated. Is passing over. Our sons. On it can't be the 15th. It's the whole thing is based on the summer solstice. So it has to be truthfully here. They would remember that. It's easy enough on the. I'm going to put 8 days. Passing over our sons. For, whoops, for 8 days. For 8 days of our first month. Now their month, I'm going to put down here as 5 count. Because month is referred to in the text as a moon month, and that is not what they had. They counted 7 days as being their month. So I want to make sure that that's always remembered in the text. Now, that said, okay, just wanted to make sure. Yeah, it looks like the stream has now got quite a bit of delay. But I don't see any frames dropped, so, but it's not responding as fast as it used to, I guess. Okay. This is not true. That's all part of the celebration. That's not really correct. It's kind of been said already. That's it's actually 8 days, is like I tried to tell you, because it was a celebration. It was not that. They did eat unleavened bread that first day on their Passover meal. And I don't think any of that needs to be put into the text anymore. So what I have here, wow, that was a lot, but I think that went pretty quick that time. So let me put it here, and let me get this cleaned up. Hey, I like it when it works right. I really do. Okay, then King Cyrus ordered his record keeper to make a search, comma, in the king's library, and a tablet was found, and there was written, in the first year of King Cyrus, Cyrus the king issued his decree concerning Wivy's house in the city Jerusalem. Let the house and his city be rebuilt on their foundation, and let the cost be paid from the royal treasury, and also let his gold and silver utensils, which Nebuchadnezzar took and brought to Babylon, return to their place in his house in Jerusalem. And now tell Reum, my governor, east of the river, to stay away from there. Well, I'm doing a lot of good editing. I thought I was going to have to add a lot of words into the text here, but it seems that, and let your work on Wivy's house be rebuilt on its site, and the cost is to be paid from their taxes, and without delay, whatever is needed as the priest requests are to be given to them without delay, that they sacrifice for their offerings to be acceptable by Yahweh, and petition for the safety for their kings and sons. Through his prophecy from Haggai his prophet, we finished rebuilding by the decree from one of these guys, and his house was completed in the 3rd month of our 6th year for this king, double space, and the descendants from Israel celebrated its dedication after our priests offered our sin offering. Then, that's separate. That is going to be separate from the. Then they appointed our priests for our tribes from Levites for ministering to Yahweh as written from Moses. Then our survivors celebrated his passing over our sons for 8 days of our first 5 count. Wow, that's pretty cool. That is cool. Now, I told you to stick around till the end of this and to see what was going on. So this is what was found today. Okay. This is what I've been working on now for 3 hours, and got a lot of text today, a lot of the story. I'm going to highlight this person's name, and the rest of them I know that's pretty good, but just look at this, how good this is, because right now, let me go all the way up to the beginning here. It's a 4-verse format that a second one, this is like one paragraph. This is like a paragraph, but then they can be put as a full paragraph. So that's why I put this double space here. But if you look at it when you get really far out, you can see all this double space and how much. But all these are 4-verse formats. Okay? Now that's saying a lot. So let me go like this and keep showing you all the text now that's actually from Ezra and from each chapter. So there was a lot of information brought out, and you've seen how I've done this without actually me constructing a lot of the sentences. They were just there. They just needed to be cleaned up and the proper words being used. And then, yes, I did have to add a lot of the gray text, but the object here is that it continued with the story. So that's what's unique when you see it, and how much is this being told truthfully now. You now have the understanding of what had happened, at least for the first 6 years, maybe 7 years, from the time they were told in Babylon to come back and the house was rebuilt. But it doesn't tell us now the time the all Jerusalem was rebuilt. But this is a lot of the story in the argument that was going on. So in the prophets we now have, and knowing pretty much the lineage of the prophets from the time of Jeremiah, when he was left as there with the remnant after everybody was taken away, that we have Haggai and Zechariah. I don't know which order they come in, but except for Jeremiah is going to be first. Then the other two, because there's a 40-year period before this 7 year starts that I know of. So that is what's unique. Okay. That was that's just great stuff. But you can see that there's pieces that need to be folded back and forth, but really, really good today. Okay. With that said, I think it's time to call it quits, but made it for 3 hours streaming. Still working out how to get it to go to 7 hours, but made it for 3 hours. So, all right, stop the stream.